This is my review of my brand new Carvin DC800 8-string electric guitar. I'll tell you a little bit about how I came to get it and a little bit about the guitar itself and possibly even some little sound samples. Sound samples are kind of pointless because they're so subjective, especially through a shitty webcam mic and computer speakers and equipment that you don't own. Probably, I mean, you might have something better or something worse or whatever. So all that's kind of pointless. But let me just say, this is a really, really good guitar. When I first opened the case, kill some of this noise here. When I first opened the case, I was a little bit, my heart sank, because this, as beautiful as this guitar is, as like stunning as this color is, and whatnot, it's not exactly the guitar I ordered per my specs and my conversations with Carvin sales department. The quality of the guitar, nonetheless, is absolutely superb. I wasn't even surprised with that. It's just I was a little bit disappointed it wasn't exactly how I ordered it after waiting so long. I ordered it on March 15th, and I guess the guy forgot to click submit on my order or whatever, so I ended up not even getting charged for it until the beginning of April, at which case they're not going to start building it until they've charged you for it. So basically was sitting around waiting in limbo for 3 weeks. Not sure if the charge hadn't gone through, so I kind of started mentally toying around with the idea that they had forgot about me. So I actually ended up getting a cheapo 8-string while I waited for my good Carvin. I got a Agile Interceptor Pro 828. It was a B stock because it had some sort of chip on the lower horn here. Ended up being just a wonderful guitar as well. So I was started typing on the Carvin forums that they forgot about me, but it's okay because I got this Agile and it's awesome. So I'm okay with not getting a Carvin now. So then like the next day there was a charge on my account, and so I think somebody from Carvin read the post and went over to dude in sales and was like, hey, did you forget about this guy? And then he's like, oh fuck, or snap, or whatever, I don't know what they say in San Diego. And then so click submit, and then like I said, the charge went through. So anyway, fast forward a month and 21 days, because I got this on the 24th of May, and I open it up and this is what I see. It's pretty amazing. It's a custom color. It's an option 50. Because, and I quote, "We don't want a pink guitar back." So in other words, I couldn't return it for a refund. If there's anything like physically wrong with it, I could get a rebuild or whatever. And I had strongly considered that, and I'll tell you why in a couple minutes here. But yeah, so it's an option 50. It's a custom color. I sent them a couple pictures. One of this amazing, it's like a pink to purple burst Paul Reed Smith guitar that somebody on the Carvin forums had, and I also sent them a picture of this picture of Kelly Osbourne. She's at some gala, or like the Grammys or Emmys or Tonys or Joshes, or I don't know what award shows there are. But she's got this bright pink, this hot pink wig on, and the way that it's darker towards her scalp, and kind of like as the light shines off it, it gets a bright pink, and then it's kind of like it looks exactly like this. Carvin did a superb job on the custom color, so I'm really happy with it. Some things I'm not terribly thrilled about. It's kind of a nondescript quilt. Trying to get some good angles in there. As you can see, there's not really. I'm trying to look at the picture at the same time. There's not really any personality to the quilt. It's not like a bunch of giant ones, or like there's not little discernible shapes or whatever. Not that that's inherently a bad thing, but for a $2,000 guitar, you kind of expect a piece of wood that kind of complements the build quality and the overall instrument. But it's decent. I like it. If you want to see some better pictures of it, to see just how bright this pink is, in the sun, it looks stunning. Just click on the link below. It'll take you to my Photo Bucket album, where you can kind of just like jack off over, you know, all the different awesome pics of it. So yeah, it's got the quilt maple top. It has the flame maple fingerboard. Let's see if I can get some good shots of the flame on there. Yeah, see right there towards the first couple frets. Just fantastic. Look, in that first fret, look, there's like 15 flames in there. Let's see. Yeah, it just looks really, really good. I wasn't too thrilled with the flame when I first opened it, but obviously I was in my apartment, and you know, you can just look around and see that the lighting sucks around here, so it's barely even good enough to read by, which is probably why I don't read as much as I should. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So some other features of it: active electronics. What you were hearing earlier was the bridge pickup soloed. It has the abalone inlays on the knobs and little dots on the fingerboard. I had really debated on either no inlays or, you know, block inlays or something, but I ended up going with the abalone dots, and I'm really glad I did, because, you know, a lot of people don't use dots or don't need dots, but I like having them there, and I'm really glad I did. And they're really diminutive, so, you know, they don't like jump out at you. Like my other Carvin, I have the block inlays, the block abalone inlays on an ebony fretboard, so they're just, you know, they jump out at you. This one is a little bit more subdued, so you really can appreciate the, you know, the flame of the wood and whatnot here. Has a graphite nut right there, a little cheater scrunchie. Let's see, let me get closer here. We got a, gosh, this light sucks. Okay, got the cream truss rod cover, 8 strings of course, the white perloid tuners, abalone logo in here, matching quilted maple headstock. Turn it to the rear here. You can see the locking Spurzle tuners. We got the walnut and maple 5-piece neck through body. And this is kind of one of the other points of contention with this guitar. I only wanted the paint on the front, and they painted the entire body. What it should have looked like, and here's the other thing, they used the wrong wood. I asked for walnut, so I wanted like the entire body to be made out of walnut. So the whole thing should have been dark like this right here. But instead they used a lighter wood and painted the whole thing. Lighter wood has turned out to be an amazing boon, because it's so lightweight. You know, I can leave it strapped on hours and not feel any fatigue or anything. And I have, like, we had a 4-day weekend this last weekend, and I literally probably had it on 6 hours a day and just no fatigue. It's lightweight. I would even venture a guess to say it's as light as my 7-string, if not lighter, actually. I forget what wood options I have in that, to be honest. But it's super lightweight, and I can actually live with the paint on the outside. But what it should have looked like was obviously the hot pink on the front, and then the white of the maple, and then the dark of the walnut. So it basically should have looked exactly like the side of the neck right here, pretty much all the way down. I think that would have looked really, really nice and elegant. Maybe my next guitar will be like that. I don't know, if there is a next guitar. I mean, really, when you have a guitar like this, why do you need another one? So, now, anybody who owns multiple guitars, don't. Trust me, I'm addicted just like you, so that was a rhetorical question. Anyway, so 24 frets, super low action, stainless steel frets. They're very, very smooth if you're bending. A lot of times, like the nickel frets, you'll kind of feel the grit as you're bending, like the metal rubbing on metal, but it's like string rubbing on glass. These stainless steel frets are amazing. If you've never played on them, play on some. And these are the regular ones. They're not the jumbo. I know a lot of people like the wider frets. I prefer the thinner, shorter frets. Oh, let's see. As you can see, string through body, active electronics, like I said. Strap locks. I have strap locks on all my guitars, so I can just use one strap and just, you know, change guitars. Let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else I could say about this. that's about it. It's a really, really quality instrument. One of the problems with Carvins, I think, is that they're not terribly common. Like, you're not gonna generally walk into a Guitar Center and have like a whole selection of DC800s that you can play. So because of that, people don't really know how good they are, and therefore the resale value is pretty low on these. Like, I constantly see the same guitar on Craigslist just over and over and over again, trying to be sold by the same person for, you know, almost as much as they paid for it. You know, $1,300 for, you know, basically a Paul Reed Smith looking guitar, which is their, you know, like the CT6 or the CT7 if it's a 7-string, the arch top, you know. Unless you played a Carvin, you really don't know the quality. So you know, who in their right mind is just gonna, on a whim, spend, you know, $1,300 on a guitar on Craigslist? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Once again, I tend to go on rants. I apologize. But so what I was playing through, and like I said, the sound is really subjective, so it's kind of pointless to give you like sound examples of it. If I don't have the distortions on, dead quiet. Sounds absolutely brilliant. This is a little loop I recorded a little while ago. Just a little bit of chorus, clean sound, neck pickup. Absolutely beautiful with a little bit of compression. I think you'll find this guitar to be as versatile as you could want in a guitar. You know, yeah, it's 8 strings, but it doesn't feel like 8 strings. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. Even if I strum a power chord on the low F sharp, it still has articulation. You know, that could be because of the string, could be because of the wood. I'm not really a toned wood believer. I know a lot of people out there are. But it's also 27-inch scale. Forgot to mention that. So you get the right amount of tension for the lower strings. Couldn't tell you what the fretboard radius is. You can always go look on their website if you're curious. I don't think there's an option. I don't think there's options for the DC800 for fretboard radiuses. Radii. Yeah, overall, really, really good guitar. Super glad I got it. Super glad I decided to keep it. Yeah, see, you know, just because it's 8 strings. You can still play all the stuff you're familiar with. So, you know, don't be afraid of 8 strings. This is just a little side note for people that may or may not think that 8 string is for them. Yeah, so now this video is kind of just going nowhere and trailing off, but let's kind of talk about. Okay, let's talk about guitar picks. So I use the Jazz 3. It's a little bit. I use the Jazz 3 Max Grip because like I get all sorts of finger cheese on it, and like I have to like brush them like I'm brushing my teeth at the sink periodically because for the finger cheese.